What's going on, Vapor fans? Welcome to another PVA item spotlight. Today we're talking about the Tsunami 24 Plus RDA by Geek Vape. So exactly what makes this RDA different from others on the market? Well, you're just going to have to stay tuned to find out. Now we're in the power mode here. So before we begin, quick shout outs to our sponsor, myvapedeal.com, MVD. These guys are a new store, okay, kind of a lot like GearBest, Fast Tech, things like that. However, I find their store much more easier to navigate because it's not like all hidden in a home and garden section. So if we go ahead and look up today's item, which is the Tsunami 24, here we go, plus RDA atomizer. There we go. Okay, we will see that it goes for a nice amount of $23.39 or $24.99 for the stainless steel or the black one. Pretty good prices. I think the prices are nice and fair, and if you're looking to pick one up yourself, links are in the description below. So as always, we begin on the dive cam of our reviews. So this is your Geek Vape Tsunami 24 Plus RDA. I personally have this in the black version, and as you can see, I already have a build inside, and we'll get to that later. So what makes this item different, okay, is that other than the different kind of chuck tips and also the 510 drip tip that it comes with, also has an adapter for you to use that. It has a special squawking pin on the inside. So for those of you who don't know what squawking is, I'll explain real quick. There are mods out there that has a little juice bottle built in inside, and what happens is that, let's remove the squawking pin over here, okay, and this is what the pin looks like. So there's a hole at the bottom, right? And what you would do is that you will replace the normal 510, that's a solid pin over here, with the one with the hole. And then once you replace this, then you are able to connect a bottle with a small hose in it, right? And you would be able to squeeze the bottle and then force juice up through the center pin. And then this action would then saturate your wicks. And then when you let go of the bottle would suck out the rest of the juice from the rest of the pool on the inside. Now, how well this works, I don't know. I'm not going to get into it. I was never too big of a fan of squawking, so please don't hate me for that. But for people who are very big on squawking out there, yeah, this might be a viable option for you guys for a, you know, another RDA that's pre-built, made for squonking, as opposed to in the past when squonkers first started, they basically just had to take different RDAs and then drill the holes themselves, which was quite the daunting task, I assume. But you know, to each his own, and depending on you know, what the RDA was, I suppose. Okay, so let's have a look over here at the deck and the cap. Okay, so this is the cap. I'm going to set that a little bit on the side, and let's take a good look at the deck of what's going on. As I said before, I already have a build inside. Okay, so let's talk about the posts over here. Not your typical type of velocity post, definitely velocity style setup. However, as you can see, there's a lot of space in between these areas. Now these spaces are not wasted, okay, because what happens is that the terminals for these connections, okay, is a pleasure to build on, because you have plenty of room to get your flush cutters in there and make a clean cut so that you have a nice clean build over here. Okay, now the one thing that you have to do is that you probably have to do a couple of adjustments, where every single time that I personally was installing the coil, I would have to, you know, take my coiling tool and then put it back into the coil and then give it a little bit of a pull, you know, so that it sits aligned with the airflow as nicely as possible, okay, without coming out too far. If it comes out too far, then it'll interfere with the cap, and obviously we're going to have a problem. So one thing that I thought was a little bit funny on this is that the Tsunami was engraved here and rather not somewhere on the cap, because what happens is that the moment you put the cap on, you completely block this out. But it's not like we don't know it's a Tsunami anyways, but still kind of funny to put the branding on something that's going to be completely blocked out. As we talked earlier, there's going to be a big chuff tip over here, and that's what comes pre-installed. And you could also go ahead and get this smaller volcano type tip as a replacement, or you could go ahead and use the adapter and the 510 and any 510 drip tip of your own, which I showed earlier. Looking closer at the airflow over here, we could see that it's like a dual pipe Kennedy system. Okay, so many of you guys out there have had the Kennedys in the past, that used the single pipe and then they moved on to the dual pipe system. You guys have a pretty good idea of what this thing is going to perform like. I personally dig it very much myself. I think the Kennedy airflow system was very, very good. However, on this device, very, very affordable for an original item. I've now put the atomizer on top of a mod. This is my SDNA 200, and we have set this to 60 watts, so that let's go ahead and glow the coils to make sure that they are balanced. Okay, let's let it cool down a little bit, and then here we go. Okay, pretty balanced. Let me give this side a small pinch. Okay, and now we're ready to wick. So I've let the atomizer cool down a bit before putting it on my install tray. Okay, and I have a nice wick twisted up over here. So let's feed it through. Okay. Then give this a general cut. Let's feed in the other side. Okay, and then let's cut both evenly. Alright, now let's get a screwdriver and tuck our wicks in. Okay, let's slowly apply a little bit juice and prime our coils. Get the wicks ready. So before we go ahead and put this atomizer back onto the mod to vape on it, I want to show people at home that I like the way the wicks are set up. Okay, it is set up in a way where natively the orientation of things, it forces you to set up wicks properly. Okay, a lot of times in the past we used to set up wicks like all sorts of ways that regardless of how the airflow worked, we would put the cotton through and then put it through and under, or wrap it around like in all sorts of places. The way that things should be wicked is just to the left, to the right, and that's it, so that you leave enough exposure for the airflow. This way you retain the most flavor and vapor. So let's screw this back onto my SDNA. It's currently set to 60 watts. Let's give her a test fire. Nice. Alright guys, so now we have everything installed and ready to go. Let's give her a whirl and see how she vapes. Definitely chucking clouds and retaining the flavor on this thing. So what are my final thoughts on this guy? Well, if you were a big fan of the Kennedy RDA, this is definitely a nice, original, cheaper alternative to it. Okay, the parts and everything, machine quality, very nicely put together. Although the cap is a little tight at first, but get your e-juice going, get it a little bit lubricated, and you will notice that the top cap starts to listen to you a little more. Again, it was a little silly how the top cap covers the word Tsunami on it, but yeah, that's really neither here nor there. But yeah, as far as installing coils on this thing, okay, I do kind of have to add that basic round builds are probably not going to be as flavorful. And if you go ahead and put basic round builds, probably have to close off the airflow a little bit because it's just not a flavorful build. While if you went ahead and put in diffuse Clapton like I did, personally what you saw on the camera over here was 2x26 wrapped in 40. Okay, so using flavorful coils inside a Kennedy style airflow RDA, okay, then you will retain a lot of the flavor and the vapor production is going to be excellent on it. So yeah guys, that is my review for the Geek Vape Tsunami 24 Plus. I hope you guys have enjoyed that. As we always say here on PVA, question everything, do your homework, vape clever guys. Take care.